my channel. Today Dan and I are answering your questions that you left me on my Instagram account.
True.
First question. Okay.
Alright, we'll see you guys next time.
Shut up.
Okay.
It's not that time. This question comes from KK_Waters.
I know who that is.
Kenny Michael asks, what are some challenges of dating with IBD? As in, how soon do you let a date/significant other know that you have this disease? How do you bring up the subject?
Set them down, you say, look, we gotta talk, have a seat, and then just start crying.
Yeah, make it really serious. Get really dramatic. Make them think that there's a big problem. Always say we need to talk.
Yeah, but you don't want to wait too long, so do it on your first date.
Yeah, as soon as you
invite them out for sushi, and then tell them,
then
I can't even eat sushi.
Yeah, slam it down and say, I can't even eat this!
And invariably they will probably say, but it was your idea, and then the waterworks.
Yeah, then
just
start
start crying.
You say, if you can't handle me at my best,
no,
my worst.
Yeah.
If you can't handle me at my worst, you know, you don't deserve me at my best. Just stare at them until they react. Oh, we forgot about the purple ribbon butterfly pin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Purple ribbon butterfly pin. Always start off a relationship with that all the time.
That's all you need. You don't even have to use words. Like, as soon as they see a purple ribbon, they're gonna be like, oh.
Yeah, I always carry extra spoons in my back pocket.
There's no other way to describe Crohn's disease. Like, there is no other way.
Feel free to get testy with people. Get real testy. And then they ask, what's wrong? And you're going to say, I'm running out of spoons!
Great, we got it down now. So, what you do is you invite them to a restaurant, order sushi, tell them to sit down, we have something to talk about. Start crying, wear a purple ribbon with a butterfly behind it, throw some spoons at them, get mad that there's sushi on the table because you can't even eat that. That's it.
It's a real big deal.
Done. So obviously we are dating each other, which makes it easy because we both have Crohn's disease, and I don't really have to tell Dan, but we both have dated other people. I'm prettier than all the girls that he's ever dated, though I am smarter. But we've dated other people, so we've had to approach that in the past. As far as how soon to approach it, it depends where you see the relationship going. I wouldn't say right away. Like, the very first time you sit down with somebody, I wouldn't say...
Oh, you should.
No, you shouldn't.
Say, have a seat. We need to talk.
Well, I personally wouldn't tell them right away. Like, the first time that I met this person. But I feel like waiting too long is a bad idea, too.
Yeah, I don't think there's necessarily... there's no perfect answer to this. Part of it is going to depend, I think, on how comfortable you are talking about it to anybody.
So get comfortable talking about it.
Sit everybody down.
Everybody. Make everybody sit down.
I just think it's important not to stigmatize yourself as an IBD patient. I know, like, people worry about how people are going to look at you because you have IBD, or they might read about it, or whatever they're going to learn, or maybe they knew something ahead of time when you tell them I have Crohn's disease.
Yeah, you should be the one to teach them about it, because don't make them go reading about it on the internet. Because they're going to read some stupid ass shit that somebody wrote that's just like, I poop all the time, and then they're going to have their own idea.
Right, and then
they're
going to tell you to
all the time.
Just to make some smoothies and...
Yeah, so you should be the teacher. You should teach the person what you want them to know about the illness. That's what I always wanted to do anyway, is I wanted whoever I was with to know what IBD was coming from me, so that way I could kind of control what they know of it, because I hate most of the stuff that's on the internet, and I feel like if somebody just goes and Googles things, that's not a good idea. So in my opinion, I wouldn't send people to the internet. And as far as how soon it is, or like when do you approach the subject, I'd say there's no like specific answer on that. Just when you're feeling comfortable with the person, I wouldn't leave it till too long, because then it would seem like you were it would make it weirder in a way, like you had this big thing to hide. And
you can't control how they're going to react. No matter what, you can't figure out there's going to be a perfect time you can tell someone, and it's going to change everything. They might be the type of person that is not going to be up for that, and that can happen. But I think the way that you think about yourself as a patient and the way that you present it to them is going to, I don't know, it's going to determine part of the way that they are going to react and look at you. Part of being a patient is learning to accept it to some extent, which is kind of an ongoing process, and being comfortable talking about it generally.
I feel like, too, it never is as big of a deal as it is. Like, in your mind, it's going to be a bigger deal than it actually is. And it usually goes like a conversation. Like, it's not going to be you sitting down and like giving this huge speech. Hopefully not. But I've always liked it to be like a back and forth. Like, you don't have to start with a lot. Like, I would start with something simple, like as simple as I have Crohn's disease, or it would always come up in conversation anyway, since it's kind of like a big part of my life. But it's usually just a back and forth conversation, and that way, you know, they get to ask you questions and you can answer them, and you're gonna build up stuff like over time. Everything doesn't come out and you don't sit there for hours and talk about it usually, but you can, and that's fine too. I just think that most people make it a bigger deal in their minds than it actually is.
Yeah.
You just do it. And once it's over with, it's fine. And if somebody doesn't take it well, doesn't want to be with you, then it's better to know then than down the road there will be people out there that don't want to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you have more severe disease or go through more stuff than other patients. Some people won't handle that, and that's just life.
It happens.
People break up for all sorts of things.
I think we all have problems,
I don't.
except her. We all have problems. Everybody comes with their own baggage of some kind, whether it's a chronic illness. I have a lot of baggage. Having IBD and dating doesn't have to be like dating with IBD. It's just dating, and you're a person, you just happen to have IBD. I know that makes it sound like it's easier than it is, or maybe trivializes it a bit, but I think it's important to try to think about it that
I'm just
way
Snapchatting us.
a bit. Does
Yeah.
that answer it?
I
Did
don't
get
know.
my
Did
point
we even
across?
answer this question?
I don't know,
Yeah, no,
because
you're
I don't
right.
think there is like a perfect answer, and that's the thing. It's just a learning process. It's just dating. We're just people. You can be the healthiest person in the world in dating, and you're going to meet people that you're not compatible with, or that are jerks, or you find they have baggage, you have baggage that you just can't deal with.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think that's a good point.
Just as patients in general, we have this tendency to, not everybody does this, but I think a lot of people do, we sort of stigmatize ourselves, or we look at ourselves as sick people. I know I've done that. I've been times in my life where I only saw myself as this damaged person because I was sick and there's something wrong with me, and how could anybody want to be around me? And I think that's a big challenge.
Work on that.
Yeah. As people with chronic illnesses, we sometimes anticipate the worst from other people, or anticipate someone seeing us the same way we might see ourselves at times. There's obviously a lot of mental health stuff that goes along with being sick, and sometimes that means like seeing yourself as broken, or there's something wrong with you, or you're gross, or whatever. And I think that is a big challenge, because it's baggage in a way. Everybody comes into relationships with their own kind of baggage, and that's something that people with chronic illnesses might bring in. And whoever you're with might not see you that way, but because you are seeing yourself that way, that's going to affect them, and ultimately it is going to affect the way that they see you. But that's just the struggle of being someone with IBD, is you kind of have to learn to accept it to some extent and work past it. It's sort of taking responsibility for who you are, in a sense. I've looked at myself negatively in the past, and I think it affected the way other people saw me. And I see it a lot in the online communities, is sometimes I feel like people put a lot of pressure on other people to be fully accepting of them before they've really accepted themselves. They want other people to make them feel better. They want other people to make them better, in a sense. But we have a responsibility too, I think, to work on that. Whether or not you're sick, you could have two totally healthy people. You're still going to come into that relationship with some kind of baggage that you have to work through. For us, part of that baggage just might be that we have IBD. It's still something that we can work on our own and with the person we're with.
I don't have IBD.
News to me. News to me. What do you have?
Rabies.
That explains a lot. Sorry.
Alright, we're done. We're good. We're good. We did it. Good question.